Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to Ask to My Eyes.
where we challenge you to stop playing and start pushing.
Why are you looking bigger than me right now?
Because you slouched down in a chair. All right, guys, this is my wonderful, fantastic, amazing, brilliant husband, Ayize.
This right here is my caring, compassionate, loving, and beautiful wife, y'all.
And I have something that's on my heart that I want to share with everyone today. It's really an essential thing. That's really not the right way to say it, but it's an essential principle, thing, process to keep in mind when you want to resolve conflict in your marriage or in your relationship. And oftentimes, my husband and I, when we're counseling couples or when we are telling people about how they can move from A to B, we often come back to this principle, and people kind of like it sounds good in the moment. They're like, oh, I feel you. But oftentimes, people find it hard to do. And so, one of the things that we often talk about is the ability to take the first step. The ability to, and not just the ability, but the willingness to take the initiative to try to resolve whatever the conflict is, to pursue your partner. Everybody wants to be pursued, but when we're mad, I want you to come to me.
Yeah.
Right? And you want me to come to you. Right? And we definitely have been there. But at the end of the day, we have to be willing to pursue our partner, not just because it actually concretely helps us to move from point A to point B. And instead of going for 3, 4, 5 days without talking, then on day 6, we utter a word to each other about it. Then, 7, 8, 9th day, then we actually sit down, and then on the 10th day, we're trying to remember what it was. On the 11th day, now we having makeup sex. It's not that it just concretely wraps that up and makes that a much shorter time frame, because you take the initiative to reach out to your partner, and you take the risk to reach out to your partner. It's not just that it helps in that way, but it also helps us individually to grow, to not just take a risk, but to give up a certain way of being. And this certain way of being that's really coming to me right now is a way of being that most individuals who come into the world, if not all individuals, everybody operates from this place. And depending on how you're raised and depending on what you're exposed to, some people learn how to drop it and become more appropriate, and others they actually are encouraged to do it. And I know y'all are wondering, like, what is it? What are you talking about? I'm talking about selfishness. I'm talking about being self-centered. I'm talking about being self-absorbed. I'm talking about being overly invested in your own emotional process. And there's no person who has not experienced that, but you cannot pursue another person. You cannot take a step to say, you know what, I just want us to come together if you're so hung up on the fact that yesterday at 1 o'clock, you turned to me and said, what? That really hurt my feelings. And that's all I'm focused on. Yeah. That's just 1/10 of the entire issue, right? But I'm focused on that one piece because I'm in my feelings and I'm mad, right? You ain't pursuing nobody because you are self-absorbed, right? And you don't have the ability, let alone the willingness to step away from that and say, let me just drop that for a minute. Because right now I'm trying to advance the relationship. Right now I'm trying to move us forward. And I'm not trying to move us forward in a way where, I'm just trying to can we just keep this moving? Can we just get over this? Can we be done with it? But I really want to resolve this. And I want our hearts to be as one. Successful relationships are not relationships where two people avoid conflict. Successful relationships are relationships where two people have established a particular process for how they manage the conflict. And oftentimes it is not always done very intentionally. It's not like you're writing it down unless you've been to counseling or coaching with us or something, like you really know like step 1, step 2. Most people don't do it that way, but the ones who find themselves successful have usually had some examples, or they have found a way in their own individual growth to be able to transfer that individual growth into the relationship. And they say, you know what? I've got to be able to step out and pursue. I've got to be able to take my focus off of me, and I've got to figure out how it is that I can give my partner a little bit of what they want. And so I just, I know I talked a lot already. I just wanted to lift that up today because I know that in our relationship, pursuing is also important. And I have to be really real. I'm talking a whole lot right now, y'all. But I was not a pursuer. I was not a pursuer. If I'm mad at you. And my husband was oftentimes letting some things go so that he could initiate the resolution process.
Yeah.
So that he could, reach out and say, come here, right? Because I was still immature in many ways. Mm-hmm. And so by his being able to do that and not get wrapped up in the fact that, well, I'm the one doing it most of the time. And when am I going to get mine? Because he was more interested in being in relationship than he was in, being right? Or kind of being so focused on the fact that I've got to be the one to pursue. And now when we look at our relationship, it is an equal process. Mm-hmm. He pursues, I pursue, right? Because I have now learned by his modeling, I have grown and I have matured. But at the end of the day, the message I want you to get today is this. If you want a successful relationship that knows how to manage conflict, and if you want to know what one of the number one things we tell people they can be doing, it is pursue your partner. Mm-hmm. No matter where you are right now, wherever you are. If you're hearing this and this thing is hitting you in your gut, it ain't by accident. Pursue your partner. And when you pursue your partner, it not only lifts up your relationship, but it also helps you to grow and to stop leaning into the inclination to take care of yourself and only yourself first. To stop looking out for yourself and your view first. To give up the need to be so self-involved and to honestly just be selfish. You learn a lot when you're in a relationship, don't you?
You absolutely do, man. One thing that I learned is my wife talks a whole hell of a lot.
I was wondering,
she be bumping her gums like a mug. I'm over here. She's dropping some real valid points, y'all. But I'm over here. My eyes, I'm getting woozy a little bit.
Shut up.
While she's talking. But no, real talk though, y'all. Everything that she said is definitely on
point.
Was
getting woozy.
I really was. Everything that she said is definitely on point, y'all. The thing that I want to lift up is that you might be asking, like, how do I pursue though? And what I would say is that fundamentally, the thing that's enabled us, enabled me to pursue in our relationship is the fact that I believe in us. And so I think that it begins with a belief in better. If you believe in better, then you have the desire to push past some of that mess, some of that stuff to achieve better. So again, in our relationship, when we've experienced difficult spaces and times, I believe in us. I believe in me. I believe in my wife. And so as a result of that, what I would oftentimes do is pursue, because I want to experience what it's like to be on the other side. I've been on the other side before. We just going through a rough patch right now, and I just want to get back to that space. So again, if you believe in better, if you put the relationship first and don't, like my wife said, get stuck in your stuff and be so self-absorbed and self-centered, but prioritize the relationship, that will definitely enable you to have that willingness to pursue. It begins with that belief, y'all.
Yeah. So go ahead and do it today. I don't know what you got to do. Pursuing your partner can look like a lot of things. You can write a letter. You can record a message and say, listen to my message. I just left you a message on your phone. You know how you make it go directly to somebody's voicemail? You can go to the person and say, can we go out to dinner? You can come to the person and just touch them, right? And you can just rub up against them a little bit, There's all kinds of things that you can do to make a suggestion that I want us to move from this place that we're in, no matter how small or big the issue is. When you're all up in your head and you're making it more complicated than it really is, that's when you get caught up. But don't get caught up being selfish. Don't get caught up staying in your corner. Get caught up in your love. Get caught up in your life. Pursue. 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 And whatever you put out, it will come back to you. All right, guys. We hope that this has been of help. Stop playing.
And start pushing.